Randy Gentry,
Here.
Nancy Alsop,
Here.
Brenda Wilson,
Here.
Steve Ellis,
Here.
Vicky Wager,
Here.
Brad Anderson,
Here.
and David Thompson.
Here. Thank you. Communications from elected officials, other officials, or agencies of the county. None. Monthly report from council attorney.
Yes. These are, sorry, Mr. President, members of council, these are the monthly reports that are filed in the federal litigation related to the Eagle County Jail and are just for your information. If you have any questions about them, I'm happy to answer.
Questions from council?
Mr. Wright, this all predates my arrival. Do we pay for those, or do we hire outside attorney to prepare those reports?
Yes, no, so the attorney representing the council and commissioners in that litigation is Dave Frederick with the Wilkinson firm here in Terre Haute. And then Craig McKee, also with the Wilkinson firm, represents the sheriff in that litigation. And they're both engaged through the county's insurance provider, but yeah, I mean, we.
Is there an end date for that, or is that just is that an endless report we get every month?
No, I mean, it's certainly not endless, but I'd say that some of the key issues that the litigation sought to address are still at issue, I guess. And so the class has been closed with the construction of the new jail, but as the reports detail, we still have to, house inmates in other county jails and pay for that, and so the court is just monitoring the progress of that, hoping that the problem can be fully alleviated at some point, at which time the case would be fully dismissed.
Thanks, sir.
Any further questions? All right, moving on. Reports from committees. There are none. Resolutions and ordinances other than appropriation. Amended salary ordinance 2025-14, human resources.
I hope this is on. Hi, I'm Kara Wright with Human Resources, and what I am here to talk to you about is that having gone through the salary ordinance to do certain things, we have found some mistakes. Just, human error is the way it works. One of those mistakes is with the GIS director. Last year, he made $68,000, his current salary listed in the salary ordinance right now is $68,403.80. Last year, he made $69,206.73. If you'd added the 3% on there, he should be making $71,281.93. Just an error. Nobody knows exactly why that's wrong. It's budgeted correctly. They did check the budget. The budget's there. It's correct. It's just a misprint in the salary ordinance. The other ones that go along with it are CASA. Same problem. It's budgeted correctly, but they've left some people out of the salary ordinance, and they've not given some people salary, the 3%. It's just all messed up. It's all budgeted correctly. It's just that written, and I think probably what happened, there was just some copy and pasting to move things around, and it just got put in there wrong. So we're just asking to have that corrected. One, so Scott can get paid the correct amount, and everybody else, they're getting paid the correct amount even though it's not listed correctly, but we just want to fix the errors. So no money, there's no money or anything because it's all budgeted correctly.
Questions from council?
That was
Thank
an
you.
easy one.
That was easy. Thank you. Ordinances relating to appropriations. Additional appropriation 2025-31, Juvenile Justice Center. That request has been pulled. Amended salary ordinance 2025-15, Vigo County Courts mandate order, page 28 of our book. Michael, are you talking about that?
That's correct, Mr. President, members of the council. So, on page 28 of your packet, you'll see the proposed amended salary ordinance. I'd like to thank everybody in the Vigo County Auditor's Office for all of their hard work related to this. If you recall, we had a special meeting in April of this year related to the settlement agreement and release, which is also in your packet. This amended salary ordinance is directly related to that settlement agreement and release. I'm happy to answer any questions that the council may have.
Questions from council? Hear none. Thank you. The additional appropriation 2025-35, Vigo County Courts mandate order, adjusted pay, page 31.
Mr. President, members of the council, again, this is same sort of situation related to the special council call we had in April and the settlement agreement and release. This is for the payroll salaries, the FICA and PERF associated with that for the remainder of 2025. I'm happy to answer any questions related to that.
Questions from council? Hearing none, we'll move to additional appropriation 2025-36, Vigo County Court mandate order settlement, page 32.
Same sort of situation here, members of the council. The only distinction I would draw with this is the fact that this specific appropriation is related to the retroactive portion of that litigation and settlement agreement. So you can see the amounts broken out for that and as they correspond to the settlement agreement. I'm happy to answer any questions related to that.
Questions from council?
Mr. Wright,
Yes.
the retroactive, that, I thought that was something that we didn't.
Well, it's not in that. I know what you're saying, Councilwoman Westland. But it was the a portion of the year, not the entirety of the request that was made, but a portion of the settlement appropriation was tied to the request that the judges had made for that mandate order from October 2024 to be back to January 1st, 2024. So our settlement did not comprise the entirety of that request, but it did include a portion of it, which is the $180,643 number that you see in additional appropriation 2025-36.
I'm probably wrong, I just thought we weren't using that verbiage.
Well, it's not in the settlement agreement, and it's not being, it's almost being paid out as like a stipend. So that could also be a term that you could use for that.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Further questions? Hearing none. Move to amend salary ordinance 2025-16, Circuit and Superior Courts, new magistrate court. Page 33.
Good evening, members of the council. Thank you for having us here. Charles Johnson, Deal County Division Court Judge, Division 1. We're here today requesting appropriation of funds concerning the new magistrate position that's been granted through the Indiana legislature. At this time, just first off, would like to thank not only the state representatives and state senators that helped, but also the council as well as the commissioner's office to being able to support us to get us through the legislature in the first place to get this new position. We do feel that it's going to be very helpful for this community, and appreciate all the support as far as that. Just a brief update on that. The judges have selected Charles Ray, who is currently with the prosecutor's office, to serve in that magistrate position. The hope is to have him up and running on July 1st of this year. The plan right now is to rework some space over in the Division 4, or excuse me, the 4D area at Community Corrections Building to house the magistrate there, working with the commissioner's office as far as getting a few updates so there is space and offices for the new magistrate, as well as hopefully the new court staff that will be working over there. As far as the request, just to run through that with you, we are requesting the magistrate receive the county portion of $5,000 that all judicial officers in the county have received. At this time, we are requesting 2 court reporters as well. Those would be at the B-level position, as well as the PERF FICA insurance that will be covered with those positions as well. The request for 2 court reporters at this time is for multiple reasons. We have determined at this time that the new magistrate will cover majority of juvenile issues that are currently handled now by Magistrate Effner at the Juvenile Center. What's going to be likely moved over will be post-adjudication CHINS cases. That'll be permanency reviews, periodic reviews, also termination of parental rights cases, and also pro se paternity cases where litigants are unrepresentative fighting over custody of a child that was born out of wedlock. Right now, the juvenile magistrate currently handles 2.87 on a utilization level. What that means is Magistrate Effner is doing the work of about almost 3 full courts at this point. With the switches around, the proposed new magistrate will be at a 0.91. I do have those numbers here if you'd like a copy of that sheet. Additionally, to the juvenile things that will be moved over, the plan will be to take the city court misdemeanors that are currently filed there in city court and move them over to the magistrate as well as Division 5. The magistrate will take half those criminal misdemeanors, and the Division 5 will take the other half. It will be split just depending on the time of the month. The numbers as far as the misdemeanors that are currently filed, in 2023 there were 1,786 misdemeanors filed in city court. In 2024 there were 2,065, and in 2025 the projected number would be 2,172. So the magistrate would be also handling about 1,086 misdemeanor cases on top of the juvenile responsibilities. With the juvenile responsibilities, TPR cases are fact sensitive and require require appeals, so the court reporters will be required to do the appeals for those, as well as handle a large caseload of cases. So it would be important to have 2 individuals working there to make sure that the orders are processed timely, as well as make sure that the appeals are handled appropriately. Concerning the transcripts as well, there is a request there for additional funds. The court reporters are required to do the transcripts outside of normal court hours. They are paid separately for that, but they are not allowed to do that during their normal court time, so that's outside of court. So it's a chance for them to, well, it's not a chance, it's a payment for them to work on those appeals when they're not because it's part of their job, and it's a requirement. The Court of Appeals requires them to do that. They be held responsible if there's issues for that, so they are paid, but they have to do that outside of the normal work hours. There are funds currently for transcripts. We just feel like with the new position and the hope of that clearing up the docket, there'll be more cases processed, and what that means, it also will be more appeals, and so we just wanted to make sure there's some additional funds there to be able to pay that for the remainder of this year. Additionally, there is requests for office supplies, printing, which would be envelopes and letterhead, service agreement, which would be a copier agreement for that court. There is currently a copier over there, but it's paid exclusively through 4D funds, so this court would not be able to use that since they aren't handling any 4D work. Additionally, there's a request for services hardware, which would be, or excuse me, systems hardware, which would be $3,600. That is a request for, it'll be covered computers for the staff, as well as a new recording system that'll have to be set up over there. There is currently a set up recording system for 4D at the court, but it has the same problem as the copier agreement, where we're not able to use that due to the funds being paid through, the funding for that was paid through 4D, so the requirements are that it has to be continued to be used for 4D. Additionally, a second recording system setup will continue to ensure confidentiality with the juvenile cases, so there won't be any crossover with any of the 4D staff, as well as those individuals that will be end up handling those juvenile cases. Finally, office furniture, the request there, that would cover desks, chairs, anything else that may be required for the office, generally for the staff. So that is our request at this time concerning this appropriation.
That also covered additional appropriation 2025-37 for the record. Any questions from council?
I do have a question.
Councilman Anderson?
Do you have a location for this court?
So it'll be in the 4D courtroom. So it'll be using the same space that 4D currently does. Due to the 4D's caseload, they generally use the court from about 1 to 2:15. The rest of the court time will then hopefully be for the magistrate. Judge Adler and the magistrate Ray will hopefully be able to work on facilitate that. So that most of the court time will be for the magistrate, and then just that time that was required for 4D as well.
Okay, thank you.
Further questions from council? Thank you.
Thank you.
Move to amend salary ordinance 2025-17, clerk's office, pay increase request, page 35 of our booklet.
Good evening. My name is Elizabeth Stuyvesant. I am the Chief Deputy Clerk for the Vigo County Clerk's Office. With me is Nasha. She is our supervisor for our bookkeeping department. I just want to go over our request. I know that we did send that to you, but just to kind of recap what we are requesting. We're requesting that all of our clerk staff get moved to the midpoint level from the Baker Tilly study. I know a lot of you were not on the council when we went through this process with Baker Tilly. The clerk's office has been asking for raises for very, very long time. It goes back 6 years, I would say. Finally, once the Baker Tilly study came out and everything was done, we did receive a substantial raise. We were very thankful for that. It brought us much closer to where we needed to be. The issue that we have had in the clerk's office is we hire people in, we teach them the language of the legal language, we teach them how to use the system, they know how to use Odyssey, and then once we get them trained, then the other offices, when they have an opening, they will take from the clerk's office. And that becomes really easy for our clerks to leave and go to another office when the pay is substantially higher. Back when we first started this fight, court staff were averaging about $5 an hour more than our clerks, and we were losing clerks left and right. I do have that number. So since 2017, that's about the time that I came into the clerk's office, so that's how far I went back. We have gone through 92 employees. 92 employees have come and gone from the clerk's office in 8 years' time. Of those 92 employees, 27 of them left our office for another office within the county that paid more. That's roughly 30%. So 30% of the people that we are losing, and that counts people that are retiring, people that leave, move away, whatever. But 30% of the people that leave our office stay in the county, they just leave the clerk's office. Now, we don't want to discourage people from bettering themselves. If they want that, and they would like to work somewhere else, we support that. We will support that and help them achieve that. But what we don't want, and what happens so many times, is people love their job. They love what they do. They love working the election. But something comes along that pays $5 an hour more, and they can't turn that down. Why would you turn that down? And that is what has caused time and time again for us to lose those employees. So once we did get our raise after the Baker-Tilly study was completed, that brought us much, much closer. So our clerks currently make $22.71 an hour. We're just going to talk court reporter A, court reporter B. With the way that it currently stands before they get their raise, court reporter A's are at $25.76 an hour, which is $3.05 more than our clerks make, and that's about right. It has worked really well. Since we got our raises, we have not lost a single person, not one has left our office in over 2 years to go to another office in the county. That has helped us to be able to train people, to retain people, to keep that knowledge in our office, not only for the clerk work, but for the election work as well. Elections are getting more complicated, not less. The spotlight on elections is getting larger, not smaller. The entire nation is looking at election security and integrity like never before. We take that so seriously that our supervisors, we have put each one of them through a program called the SEATS program. It is through Ball State University that VSTOP puts on. Every single one of our supervisors has been through that year-long program and is now certified in election administration, technology, and security. And we continue to do that. We continue to send people to that program, which we get grants for that. We do not use county money to send them to that program. We have gotten a grant for each one of our graduates that have gone through that. When you have that kind of knowledge and background in our office, it's very, very difficult to lose those people. We went through, our supervisor staff has completely changed within the last 3 years. It's a complete overhaul. And that was a very, very hard and rocky situation. I can tell you right now, the supervisor staff that we have is phenomenal. They do their job, they do it well, they have a good attitude. It has taken them a couple of years to really get their footing, because when you are in the clerk's office, we are so vast. We have the main office, we have our bookkeeping department, we have absentee voting, we have our records warehouse. We're all over the place, which is why we do require the supervisors that we do, because they have to know who's doing what and when and how everybody wants it. Every single court that we have, they have their preferences. The judges and the court staff want things this way in this court and this way in this court, and it's a lot for the clerk's office to juggle along with everything else that we do. So what we are asking is to go to midpoint. That is what was promised us, and I do realize that most of you were not here when that came about. But we would like to come to the midpoint level. I know that other offices have come to you as well, and some of them have received that, the highway department, the assessor's office. The clerk's office would like the same. I know that it was said at a meeting, be creative. What can you come up with? Right now, there's not a whole lot of wiggle room that we have. We are fully staffed at this moment. But as Judge Johnson was talking about, there is a new court that is opening, and clerks are going to be needed for that court as well, as they are in every other court. So originally, our thought was to ask for 2 additional clerks to go along with the 2 court reporters. But what we are willing to offer, if you will consider giving us this raise, we will stretch our people and make it work without hiring any additional employees. And I did break those numbers down. So if we were to hire 2 new clerks to cover the new court, the cost for each clerk in its entirety would be $87,915.27. So for 2 clerks, it would be $175,830.54. This does include their salary, FICA, their perf, and we calculated that using the family insurance plan. So if we forego that and do not hire these 2 new clerks, and instead we ask our clerks to do a little more, stretch a little further, some of our courts that have 1 clerk would have to go down to 2. Or if we would have to move things around. It's not going to be an easy change, but it is one that we do believe that we can do, and that we are willing to ask our people to do, if we can get them closer to where they should be in salary. So by giving us the raise, versus 2 new clerks, it actually comes in $4,490.31 less than if we were to hire 2 new employees. So that is one thing that we are willing to do, if you guys would be willing to consider this raise for us. The other thing I do want to point out as well is that our bookkeeping department, we do invest every year. We invest into a CD. Our return in 2024 was $51,721.86. In 2023, it was $34,227.56. The one for 2025, we will get $31,500. And all of that money goes directly back into the general fund. The clerk's office doesn't use that. We don't appropriate it for anything. It's not budgeted in. That is money that we feel like, as stewards of the county's money, which is what we are in our bookkeeping, we want to invest it. We want to do the right thing, and that's what we have done. So we are diligent in trying to take care of the money that you do give us and give back what we can. So I did want to make you all aware of that as well, and then we will continue in the future going to invest in things like that as well. I have so many notes here. But one thing that I do want to point out, I don't want to take up too much of your time either, but I just want to talk about the numbers real briefly. So with the raises that the court staff are getting, which are well-deserved, we are not upset that they are getting those. They work hard. We know, because we sit right next to them. We're working hard too. When their cases go up, our cases go up. We really do sit side by side, and we do a lot of the same work. It's not exactly the same, but the lines are very blurred because, like I said, some of our courts, this court wants it this way, this court wants it that way. So in some courts, what's a clerk responsibility in another court is a court reporter's responsibility, and vice versa. There's not a clear-cut line. That's how muddled that this becomes at times. And there's not any additional schooling, degrees, nothing else is required to have that court reporter position, which with the new salary, the court reporter A will be making $30.87 an hour. So like I said, right now our clerks are making $22.71, and this is where it is very alarming because we lost 30% of our people to other departments when they were making $5 an hour more. And now they're going to make $8.16 an hour more than our clerks. That's more than minimum wage that they're going to be making more than our clerks. Our assistant supervisors, as it stands, once the raise goes through for the court staff, our assistant supervisors are going to make $2.23 an hour less than a court reporter. Our supervisors will make 37 cents an hour less than a court reporter. And myself, as the chief deputy, I make 24 cents an hour more than a court reporter does. And I'm not eligible for overtime. I don't get to do any transcripts. And I have a whole lot of people relying on me and 2 elections to run every single year. My fear is that our staff is going to look at this and take every opportunity they can to become a court reporter. I would be lying to tell you that I haven't thought about it myself, even though I love my job and I am passionate about elections, and I am certified in election administration, technology, and security like the rest of my supervisors are. But for 24 cents an hour more and no transcripts and no overtime because I'm a salaried position, it really makes me stop and think. Am I doing the right thing? Should I give up on the elections? Should I give up on the clerks and try to get, and I am not meaning to take anything away from the court's job or to say that they don't work hard or that they don't deserve it. They absolutely do. But our clerks deserve it as well. If we do get our raises, and this is with the raise, our clerks will still make $5.62 an hour less than a court reporter, which, looking at it, that's still a scary number because that puts us back where we were when we were losing 30% of our staff to the courts or or other offices. Our assistant supervisors will still be making, oh, I'm sorry, I gave you the wrong numbers before. Our assistant supervisors now are at $5 less. With the raise, they'll make $2 less. With the raise, our supervisors will make 37 cents an hour less than a court reporter who does not supervise anybody, who does not have to run elections. I am asking you to please think about this. I know your job is hard. I know everybody comes at you guys and they want money. Everybody, it seems like they always want more, 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 and I cannot imagine the stress that you guys feel on your shoulders. But I'm saying, please consider the clerk's office. Consider what we do. Think about the time that you have spent in our offices. Each and every one of you have spent time during elections in our office, and think about it. How were you treated? Did our people know what they were talking about? Did they know what they were doing? If it's been recent, the answer is absolutely yes, we do. We take our jobs extremely seriously, and we want to be able to keep doing that and providing that for Vigo County, because Vigo County is one of the best, if not the best county in the state for elections. We go to other counties and help them, not only with elections, but with other things as well. Nasha and I have spent considerable time in Knox County over the last 2 months helping their new bookkeeper get up and running, because we have had 2 years where we haven't had huge turnover. So we are now at that point where all of our supervisors are up to speed. All of our supervisors are able to help our staff, which helps the courts, which helps everything to run smoothly. And I am just really worried if we don't get to at least go to that midpoint level that we were promised 3 years ago, that we're going to be right back at it. And that's going to be hard for any of us to stay if it starts to fall. And if we do have an opportunity to go somewhere else. I will stop talking now. I really do appreciate all of your time, and I am open to any questions that you do have.
Thank you. Questions from council? Councilman Anderson?
The CDs that you collect, is that from fees?
That is, a lot of that money is money that we're just holding. We hold a lot of money from bonds, from, help me out, Nasha. Nasha is our bookkeeper.
Yeah, the CDs, we did have a lot of money, and we do have a lot of money for bonds that are old and sitting, waiting to be released. So it is money that has been sitting there. We do still have plenty of money in our account should all of these bonds get released at once. Those are still accounted for. But we decided to invest into the CD, and we have been for multiple years, and thankfully the interest rates have gone up, so we have been substantially increasing what we put back into the counties.
Okay, the money you're talking about, is it a line item in your budget?
No.
That's just separate from that?
Yeah, the check goes straight to the auditor's office and goes back into the general fund.
Okay. Thank you.
Councilwoman Wilson?
correct me, it's been a little while. The chief deputy clerk, do you get 80% of the clerk?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So does
However,
that
when the
affect-
study was done, and Michael, you can help me if I am not correct. At that point, Leanna was the chief.
Mhm.
Hers did get adjusted. It was just they could not change elected officials at that time because it had to be done at that time during the budget time.
Yeah.
So they had said they would revisit that this coming year for the elected officials.
You cannot, without a finding from the commissioners, you can't change an elected officer's salary in the year that you're in. So, I think that was the issue here, and they just adjusted Leanna's with that knowledge that they would come back and do Brad's after.
So this increase in your salary won't affect Leanna's?
That is something that will have to be looked at as well. That's not something that, I have a say in. But I think elected officials overall need to be looked at, especially when you're looking at the amount of money that you can make being a court reporter. Why be an elected official? And, it is what it is. And it's hard to say, but everything's going up. And I do. I think you guys included, pay for elected officials really needs to be looked at during this budget season.
Councilman Ellis?
Yeah, can you, you mentioned it a couple times, but I think I misunderstood one of the two times.
Okay.
In the past 2 years, what has your turnover rate been?
So I can give you a number of what we've turned over. I don't have that, I apologize. But we have not lost anybody in 2 years to another office in the county. And it's been way less. We've had a couple of people retire. But it is substantially, we were losing 3 and 4 clerks a month sometimes. And it's been really, really nice but it's 0 to another county office in 2 years. I'm sorry. 1 this year. So for 2025, we have lost 1, and they've decided to be a stay-at-home mom.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Councilman Gentry?
I just want to say I appreciate the presentation. And I also appreciate you not coming and asking us to reclassify every position to get to the midpoint. It's one of my pet peeves. I believe that getting everybody to midpoint is something that was promised 3 years and plus now. I also appreciate, and other members of the council have also pointed this out, it's always we want to see what you can bring to the table. The fact that you've paid for this pay increase, the midpoint, by being creative is something that we continue to ask department heads to do. And so to that extent, you're trying to save us money and do what we're promised these county employees 3 years ago. So I
Absolutely.
just want to say thank you.
Thank you. And I would like to point out as well, we're not asking for back pay. We just want it to, if we get it approved, that it would start and nothing retro.
Further questions from council? I do want to bring up your numbers for the 2025 midpoint, I believe, are off.
We did include the 2, because we've had 2 annual raises since then, which are, I would call them cost of living raises. So we added that, the 4% that we got for 24 and the 3% that we got for 25. That's why they don't match the report.
So let me make sure I'm clear with this. You're proposing deputy clerks at 2525. I believe the midpoint in 2025 is 2428. And that includes a 3% raise in 2023, and I believe in 2024 as well.
Okay, and it is possible, I calculated these myself. I didn't have the 2025 numbers to go off of. So if I am wrong on those numbers,
I'll
I
verify
apologize.
these, but midpoint 2025 for the deputy clerks, I've got 2428. For the assistant supervisors, 2754. And for the supervisor, 2933. So roughly $1 on each of them, give or take.
Okay,
But I will verify that for next week.
okay.
That brings up a
Else.
follow-up question then. So is the ask, just so we understand, to get to midpoint, so is the ask what he just said, if that in fact is midpoint?
Yes, we want midpoint with the two raises that have come since those numbers came out. I believe it was a 3% and a 4%, if I'm not mistaken.
Mr. President, question in regards to the numbers that you have. So is their ask for this appropriation ample to cover, or are they going to need more money to cover with your numbers?
Their ask would cover what the actual numbers are.
So they would be okay with the?
Yes.
Okay, thanks.
Yes,
sir.
correct. Let me make sure.
Thank you.
Yes, it would cover it. Any further questions from council? All right, thank you. And that covered, just for the record, 2025-17 and the additional appropriation 2025-38. With that, public comment?
I just had a comment in regards to the location of the new court. So that's what one of our things on the special call is for next week. We did not know about this need until after the deadline was. So there is plenty of space up there to create 3 offices. So we'll be coming to you next week. It's probably going to be around a $20,000 renovation budget to do that. But that's where their offices will go up there.
Thank you. Any questions for Commissioner Clickenbeard? All right, with that, I will take a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Motion by Councilwoman Wilson, second by Councilman Gentry. Those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed? Meeting's adjourned. Thank you.